Hi, welcome back to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your classmate or companion into the world of Chinese. I'm learning along with you Chinese culture. Simply because I was born into it doesn't mean I know a lot about it. I'm only a longtime user of the language, and this is an opportunity for myself to look into the workings of this language. So yesterday we talked about a pretty horrifying concept that's on appearance, the entity most likely like two or more parts looks like one unity that's like connected, right? And then below the surface, the intention, the conscious mind of the entities within that joint unit are actually separated. They have a different directions to go. So that I translated as polarized, just for the convenience of understanding in the context of today's world we're living in. That's pretty a convenient example. So today we are going to continue with even more horrifying concept. I mean, just like movies, we got comedy and horror movies, right? Different genres. And language descriptions, we also have, good meanings. Like we started from 风景如画, picturesque, to war, right? We have 横尸遍野, wartime scenery, and now this is the ultimate falling down of things. We use 4 different ways of falling to describe the process, the disintegration happening. Happening in this phrase. 分崩离析, 分崩离析. Okay, so 4 ways of how the things ended. The first word, 分. Okay, so 分 is actually comes from both top and bottom, the meaning maker. The top pronounced as 八, hand gesture like this as number 8, and it's written like, we have stick figure, human, right? Man, and then 分 is 8, is this separation of the 2 legs. Or actually don't see it as person because it's not a good picture, but it's like, okay, separate it. And then the bottom is knife. So we have knife that's cutting something separated. So from 1 piece now it looks like 2 pieces. So that's the simple, direct, visual way to express that it is splitting. Boom. Boom, we have the mountain on the top. We know this 3 pillar thing, right? With the middle, the highest, the 2 side one, and with the base connected. That means 1 mountain, 1 series. They come from the same, structure. They're connected, but they have peaks, right? So that's mountain, and the bottom. That's like a double repeated symbol side by side. We have seen on the character 多, means multiple, right? Here is kind of similar, that we have something twice have a special meaning. I can give you a heads up here. Okay, so before we learned if this by itself means the moon, right? So it's like a crescent and with like a cloud covering in the middle section. That's how I visual the moon. And eventually this character was become an abstraction of the body parts. If you see this symbol, that means something related to the body. So 2 bodies next to each other. Meaning wise, it means friends, friendship. So it's like 2 person, right? Yeah, at least 2 units can make a friendship. So it's pronounced as peng. So the bottom, the bigger proportion of the frame, the sound maker, peng. The top is a meaning maker, means something about the mountain. So the whole meaning means the crumbling of the mountain. So I know in snow, snow-covered mountain is avalanche, right? So crumbling of the snow down the mountain. So this is talking about the mountain itself crumbled or toppled. I don't know if there's such a natural phenomenon that a mountain just by itself, like, I don't know about that, but I envision it as like something like a earthquake situation, that it's shaked and then it's crumbling, at least the easy to crumble part fall down. The main body probably still there, but it's seriously damaged. And in ancient times, when the king or the emperor died, people use this word "beng." So it's like the mountain crumbled. It's like the world changed because one man died. The ruler died. Well, to pay tribute to the significance of the death of a ruler. Okay, we use this word. Mountain crumbled. The third word was from yesterday, li. So this word came with a little bit more twist in its history. It started with some sound of the bird chirping, li, right? It sounds like li, 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 something like a sound imitator. It also came from mountain god, at least like a localized mountain god. So eventually it was taken, because this is a pretty complicated structure word, and it probably try to give people some sense of a little bit of horror or fear in it, because if it's mountain god showing up or disappear, it's like a random event. You don't have control, and so it's a kind of an eeriness embedded in this character, and it was used to mean separate. Xi, the last one, xi. Well, I guess you saw this spelling a lot in the Western media, because the current president of China is Xi Jinping, Xi. So his surname is pronounced second tone, Xi, and different character, but it's the same pronunciation marker. It's a Xi, pronounced as a Xi. Okay, it's a left-right structure. Both of them are meaning makers. The left, we know, is the tree, right? The right is the axe. So it's something used to cut the tree. So this is simply chopping up the tree. So I don't know. This phrase is full of action, of violence. So something separate. This involves a knife, right? This involves an axe, and this is mountains crumbling, and this is some eerie, unnatural, supernatural event, like separating. So all of these four characters are describing certain kind of disintegration. So just the whole phrase use one English concept. I can only describe it as disintegrated. So I mean, things do disintegrate, right? Eventually, at some point, even if that's probably not the best represented state of being, right? It's there will be disintegration of the phase of the life cycle toward the end, right? Disintegrated, either being an entity, organization, institution, or life, or some event, some or synergy of doing something and then disintegrate, people going parting ways, doing different things. Because it's a heavy topic, and I have no visual that I can think of describing the horror of the disintegration. So I'm using something actually unity to show the opposite concept. So this is highly decorated, embroidered fan, which was common female object, because females back in the old days cannot show the public their face, at least they pretend not to show, right? Being modest. So instead of having veils all the time, we have this detachable veil, basically. So when a stranger, especially a young man, came into the household visit, most likely be a matchmaking situation, right? Like the young lady, never exposed to the outside world, would hide her face behind the fan. And of course, if there are some chemistry going on, she will play the trick of showing her face a little bit and leave a lot to the imagination of the young man. I don't know, that's my imagination, but that's the function of this fan. Highly decorated, right? Meaning to draw attention to it. And it's not about the fan, but about what's behind the fan, right? So the fan becomes a kind of a cultural symbol for at least the Chinese culture, that there are all kinds of shapes, all kinds of motifs, decorative on it. And this is like a modern contemporary fan studio that make this highly luxurious fan. And I guess it's not really function to mean to cover your face anymore. Nobody does that anymore. If anything, female figures, if they have good looks or something, they'd rather expose it, rather hide it, right? So this becomes kind of like a decorative piece because it came from such a long, almost like a romantic tradition, right, of covering like a modesty of female face, but it becomes almost like an art piece in its own art form, because this is a limited space for you to express some concepts. And here I'm using this pattern, which got 16. I don't know if you can count that fast. I count many times to see how many. So it's 16 of those little finger looking things pointing at all 16 directions. So that gives you a sense of things are united and they are kind of central, going to central, pointing to have the same center, that sense, right? So this is how, when things are integrated looking, and we're talking about disintegrate here, I still hope to end at a positive note. So when we're still integrated in whatever situation, enjoy that integration, that synergy, make the most out of it. And when things are going bad, disintegrated, accept it as part of life. And by disintegration, simply like resources or energy are reorganized and then going to integrate again, right? So that's how I view it. It's just one phase of life. 分崩离析. Hope you have a good day. Thank you for your time with me.